All right, I should be live. What's up, guys? Today was another crazy day of free agency. Yeah, okay, good. We're live. Another crazy day of free agency, boys. We got ourselves Geno Smith. Gets freaking traded to the Raiders for a third-round draft pick. Whew. We're talking about some crazy things going on here. Kappa is a Raider. The Raiders also now have Geno Smith. Kappa is going to protect Geno Smith. I will say Geno's not as mobile as he used to be, but he does have some mobility left in him. So, with mobile quarterbacks, you can kind of get away as linemen to a certain degree. If your quarterback's mobile, you can get away with, with not blocking as long. So if Kappa decides to crap the bed, which, let's be honest, he has done in the past for us, I think Geno could technically get away with it. This is surprising, but not really. Yeah, overall wise, the Raiders got a top 5 pick, right? They got a top 5 pick in the end here. So they could take a quarterback, but who's going to be available for them at that pick is the question. You get a veteran in there. Even if you do take a young guy, you get a veteran in there. They kind of help out the young guy, train the young guy a little bit to get better. The Raiders are in a weird spot, but now the Seahawks are in a very weird spot. So who do the Seahawks have on their depth chart is my question now. Because so they got rid of Geno. Don't tell me they're locking with like a Drew Lock or something. No, Drew Lock's on the Giants, I think. I think they brought him back. They brought back Tommy DeVito. I know that. All right, so right now they got Sam Howell and Jaren Hall as the Seahawks' only quarterbacks on the roster. So they're going to have to... Sam Darnold is like the big name right now going into free agency. What do you think Trey is worth? I think Trey's priceless, to be honest. I personally would not put a value on Trey Hendrickson. For what he gives us and being the only defensive player, I don't think he has a value that is even like fathomable. I don't think there is a value. There's no value. He is priceless. So I couldn't even put a value on Trey Hendrickson, to be honest. But all right, so what the free agent market looking like for quarterbacks? Because I haven't looked at the free agent market on quarterbacks. I don't want to trade Trey. I don't care what the Bengals want to do. I disagree completely with even the idea of trading Trey Hendrickson. There is no circumstance where you trade Trey Hendrickson. Unless you have a crazy, you're trading Trey for Myles Garrett maybe, then you could make the argument because then you get his value back. No. Outside of that, no. TJ Watt maybe, no. Max Crosby, potentially. But anyone else, no. So, Seahawks options in free agency, because it looks like the Vikings are going to try to keep Sam Darnold. They didn't franchise tag him, but it looks like they're going to try to keep him. Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, Jacoby Brissett, Taylor Heineke. Where are the Seahawks drafting? Because I feel like they just barely missed the playoffs. So, Seahawks are right now... Oh, lordy. Pick 18. They're not getting a quarterback. So I guess you could say kind of like a mini rebuild right now for the Seahawks. They're kind of in that rebuild point. Raiders are just trying to get, I'm going to guess, a veteran leader at quarterback to take over, and then you bring in a young quarterback. So you draft a guy at 5, and you have a veteran starter starts next year, and then he learns from the starter. That's what I would guess, because they just got rid of Minshew. So they just cut Minshew, get rid of him, and now they have Geno Smith, which I'll be honest, I want to say I don't know how much of an upgrade Gardner Minshew to Geno Smith is. Seahawks need to trade up for a quarterback if they want to win this year. But that's the thing. I don't know if they want to. I think they're going to rebuild. They might just completely rebuild it because this year's quarterback class is not that great. Like, there really isn't. I mean, obviously, free agency is a cesspool right now. But even if you go to, like, mock drafts, for example, outside of, the top two, Cam Ward and Sanders, I mean, there's no way, there's not really any quarterback you're taking early. So, for example, let's start the draft, okay? First pick, Jalen Carter, by the way, today, Abdul Carter today posted on Instagram, he posted a picture of him in the Titans uniform because he is convinced and telling the world that the Titans are going to take him at 1, which they should. If Brian Callahan is smart, he'll take Abdul Carter at pick 1, 1,000%. He's the best option in the draft. He is the best player in the draft. But now it's like, okay, so if you're the Seahawks, when would you think you would trade up? Who do you think the Raiders would pick? I think, now that you have Geno, you could take a quarterback in the second or third round. You could take someone like Milroe in the second round if you're the Raiders. Now that they have Geno, a capable starter, I think you could, in theory, kind of finesse around and take someone like Geno. I mean, take someone like Milroe. You could take someone like Riley Leonard, maybe in the 4th round, right? You could take someone later and have them develop and sit behind someone like Geno Smith. So I think there's possibility. They opened the door for themselves with that situation being said. Now, like, for example, I think that the Brownies, 100%, I think they take Cam Ward. I think that the Giants, they probably take Sanders. And now the first round pick quarterbacks wise are off the board. So if you're Seattle, you can't, unless you're going to trade up to pick 1, 2, or 3, you most likely are not going to be in this situation. Now, what they could do, here's what they could do. The Titans are open to moving pick 1. But the question is Sanders or Cam Wood good enough for the Seahawks to trade up, have to give the whole entire barn for Cam Ward or Sanders? And I don't think they are. I don't think either of those guys are worth it to give up. You're going to have to give for the Titans, to trade up with the Titans, because the Browns aren't going to let you trade up. Giants aren't going to let you trade up. Neither are the Patriots. So your best pick is right now number 1. Locker room, it's just a tumbleweed. Yeah, because right now they're in a rebuild. But this is just not the year to trade up for a quarterback. I mean, you're going to have to give up probably 3 first-round picks and some other picks if you're the Seahawks here to go from 18 to 1. DK Metcalf wants out. Tyler Lockett just got released. You have no receivers. You have a banged-up offensive line. I mean, there isn't really a scenario here if you're the Seahawks where you're not just in ultimate rebuild mode. You're in ultimate, let's start over, let's figure things out mode, right? You need to just take a step back and just rebuild this team, because you don't have the team that right now I think can foster a young rookie quarterback, especially not Cam Ward or Sanders. You're just not that team right now. And trading to pick 1, trading away 3 first-round picks and some other picks, you're not in a position with your team to make that happen. So I think overall, why Seahawks stay at 18, maybe they do take a quarterback like Milroe, like Riley Leonard later on. but I don't think they trade up. I think they just kind of sit it and wait and see what falls to them. Now, again, Titans here. Abdul Carter, very vocal. He thinks he's going to the Titans, which is very possible. Outside of that, though, I mean, then you kind of drop down. Let's talk about the Raiders, actually. So let's say, for example, pick 2. I think this will be the first quarterback. Cam Ward to the Brownies. Then pick 3, give me Sanders, goes there. I think that the Patriots are going to take Travis Hunter. I think that's probably the most logical pick. Jaguars, ooh. I don't think they could take a wide receiver. I don't think they're going to take a wide receiver here. They just trade away Christian Kirk to the Texans. So I don't think they take wide receiver. I could see them taking offensive line because they do need to fix their offensive line. So this could be Will Campbell from LSU. And now the Raiders are on the clock. And again, they could also trade down. They could also trade back here. Seahawks take Jackson Dart or Will Howard or Meroy, Lordy. They could later on in the draft. Very possible. They're not going to do it in the first round, but they could do that later on down the line in the second, third, fourth round. Those quarterbacks are going to drop, especially now with like outside the top 2. Those guys are dropping. Now they could have great pro days. Don't get me wrong, and stuff like that could happen. But this is a place where, yeah, I think the Raiders, you got Geno now, right? I would go Milrow. I mean, I would go McMillan. The problem with McMillan is a lot of hate toward McMillan right now around the league because McMillan he's a great vertical threat. He's a great deep threat guy, but they're saying outside of that, he really isn't anything. Which we have seen receivers like that come and go over the years. So, but let's talk about the second bit of news because we have more news than just Geno Smith is now a Las Vegas Raider for a 3rd round draft pick. The Raiders traded Geno Smith. Levante David re-signing for a 1-year, $10 million deal. I feel like Levante David is like 50 years old. How old, Levante David? How old are you? How old is Levante David is my question. He has to be like 35. He is 35. Let's go. Right on the money with that one, baby. 35 years old. Oh, man. So he just re-signed for another year. Holy lordy. He stayed with Tampa his whole entire career. I really thought at one point like he might have fallen off. Like, you know how it is, these older guys, they fall off of their team, they go somewhere else, maybe they come back in the end or something like that. Like, but like they usually go somewhere else for a period of time. No, not at all. And Zim Hude just responded to me. Hang on, we got Zim Hude just responded to me. I gotta pull this up. What did he say? I just got a tweet. Okay. What does Zim Hude say? Oh, he said Hude. Oh, okay. So this is because, okay, so let me tell you about this. This is like what really is pissing me off right now. I made a video about this earlier. I love Zim Hude, by the way. Absolute legend. But so everyone is saying like, okay, so how do I put this? Jonathan Jones, he reports out that the Bengals are thinking about would trade Trey Hendrickson for a 2nd or a 3rd. What's up, man? How you doing? A 2nd or a 3rd, right? He didn't mean it like that. What he's saying is he thinks in the end the Bengals might settle for a 2nd or 3rd. So people saw that and then they took it and they ran with it and posted it everywhere. So now everyone thinks the Bengals are trying to trade Trey Hendrickson for a 2nd or 3rd round pick. They're not. They're not looking to trade Trey Hendrickson for a 2nd or 3rd round pick. Jonathan Jones had to put out another tweet and say, this is inaccurate. I did not tweet what the Bengals are seeking. I speculated what the Bengals might have to settle for. So a lot of people now are like running with this. Trey Hendrickson is going for a 2nd or a 3rd. No, he's not. Not even close. We want way more than a second or third. This guy was just speculating that it might happen. So a lot of people right now on Twitter are really mad about the Bengals, saying like, oh, this is like bull crap. We're not doing a second or a third round pick here. That's not the case. Okay. That's not the case. He was just speculating what we might settle for, not what we're going to give up. What's up, Lawrence? How you doing? What's up? So that whole situation just got out of hand, and I saw Wincy posted about it. Zim was posting about it in this thread right here. And I just wanted to like every time I see it, I like to comment and just say, hey, listen, that's not the case, right? We're not looking for a second or a third. This guy actually corrected himself and said that he did not report that. So Zim just said hooday. So love you, Zim. Absolutely love you, man. But I just kind of want to point that out for everyone because I keep seeing all over Twitter. Guys, we're not trying to trade Trey Hendrickson for a second or a third. Just saying, just keep that in mind. We're not. We're trying to get a lot for him. But the problem is, the one guy said we might settle for that. I don't think we're going to settle for that because that's not how the Bengals work. Bengals will just not trade you rather than settle and look dumb. Levante David, 1 year, $10 million deal. So shout out to Zim Houday, as always. This is someone that interests me a lot. So I don't want Joey Bosa. Joey Bosa cannot stay healthy. He cannot stay in the field to save his life. But Arnold Landry got released by the Tennessee Titans. And let's kind of look more into Arnold Landry, because this is a guy that I would not mind adding to the roster. He's 6 years in the league, right? Last 2 years, he has played every single game. So he tore his ACL in 22. But last 2 years, he has played every single game. 10.5 sacks. Where is his? Oh, right there. 10.5 sacks 2 years ago. 9 sacks last year. So we could put him on the other edge of Trey. One edge Trey, one edge Landry. He's played every single game the last 2 years. Honestly, other than a torn ACL, he played every game in 21, every game in 20, every game in 19. Other than his rookie season where he technically missed one game as played one game total, he's played every game of his career. So this guy is not injury prone. This guy is healthy, unlike Joey Bosa, who is older and also has a lot of injury baggage. This guy does not. So he's going to be a hot commodity in free agency here. This is a guy where you get Trey under that new contract, right? You sign Trey Hendrickson on a new contract. Get Arnold Landry. This is the guy who comes out and just absolutely destroys. I really, really want this guy. And again, like I said, I know a lot of people, I keep seeing on Twitter, we got to go get Joey Bosa. We do not need to get Joey Bosa, guys. Okay? Let's look at his last couple years, Joey Bosa. 14 games, 9 games, 5 games. Trust me, the last thing we need, what we deal with every season is adversity. The last thing we need is more adversity to deal with, okay? We don't need more adversity here. So, Arnold Landry, I would love to get this guy. This could be a really good pickup for us. But again, it comes down to price tag and money. And obviously, we still got to figure out everything out we're going through right now. Because at this moment in time, let's go ahead and pull this up real fast. We still got 5 days till free agency kicks off. Bengals are still sitting at a solid $51.731 million hit cap. Von Bell, obviously we don't care too much. Mike Hilton, we already talked about, he's going to be gone. BJ Hill, Mike Gesicki, we still got a lot of free agents to go through. A lot of free agents to go through in 5 days. So Mike Gesicki better be back. Needs to bring him back. Raiders might grab a quarterback and it might be Sanders. So do you think the Raiders are going to trade up, Lawrence? Are you saying they're going to trade up for him? because that's the only way they would, in theory, be able to grab a quarterback, would be trade up. Because I don't think Sanders will drop outside of the top 3. Titans could trade away their pick, and the team could come up and try to get a quarterback. And then the Giants and the Brownies, one of those two is going to take Sanders. One of those two would take Sanders. There's no way that he drops out of those two guys. So, I mean, the Raiders could. They're at number 5. You know, they could always, luck out and someone drops them, but it's one of those situations where, I don't know. Then we have Jonathan Allen got released. Now, how old is Jonathan Allen? Because I feel like he was like from that 2016 draft. 2017 draft. Okay, so he was a year after what I thought. 6'3", 300 pounds. Okay, he's going to be 30 years old next season. Played 8 games last year. Resources said Tom Brady might want this to happen. I mean, I'm sure Tom wants to get a new quarterback. I'm sure. Trey in a third for Sauce. No way in hell. No way now. Do you think this offseason the Bengals will go all out? The reason I say this is because this is a big offseason for them. I mean, here's my problem with that idea. In what way do you mean go all out? Isn't that productive anymore? Yeah, I'm starting to see that with numbers. But yeah, look at they're good. Because here's what I'll say about the whole situation with this offseason. We did great with coaching, but we only have so much money, okay? Right now, the situation is at being presented in front of ourselves is we have to re-sign Chase, T, and Trey. That's going to eat up a lot of that 60 some odd million we have left. So to go all out, in theory, means you would have to have a lot of money to be able to get these players or get players you want to bring on the roster, right? There just isn't that much money for us to go all out in free agency. And the draft, we only have 6 picks. So unless the Bengals are going to try to get a lot of like older veteran guys, right, to bring them in for cheaper deals, there really isn't a situation we can go all out. We should have paid Jamar Chase already. We should have. But it is what it is. You know, we made our beds and now we have to sleep in it. So, but once Chase and T and all these guys get paid, there just isn't that much money left. Yeah, so like we can't really go all out. We're kind of right now stuck between a rock and a hard place. And I think that's why the Bengals are trying to trade away Trey as well, is because they're trying to get out of the rock and a hard place. But I just don't think it's going to work. We don't need DK. DK is how do I put this? He is unpredictable. You don't know what you're getting with DK. Sometimes DK can be great. Sometimes DK can be a wide receiver 1 in like 6 games of the season. And then he'll go missing and be a wide receiver 3. And not only that, I don't know if you guys saw, the Seahawks won a first and a third for DK. A first round pick and a third round pick is what they want for DK Metcalf. There's no way. There's just no way. Plus, if we got DK, we would have to get rid of T. Because there's no way you're going to have T and DK. Yeah, he is an insane crash out player, 100%. And that's another problem with all this is, I mean, are we just going to go all offense, right? We're just going to completely max out our offense? That doesn't make realistic sense. We did that last year, and we went 9-8, and we missed the playoffs. You know, we can't just go all out offense and not have a defense. I know, but that's what they want, and they're fighting for that tooth and nail, and they won't give up on a first and a third. That's why no one will trade with them. No one's going to trade with them because of that reason. All right. Derek Barnes agrees to a 3-year, $25.5 million contract extension with $16 million guaranteed. It's funny, with all these players nowadays, I feel like, recent players we've seen, we always like look at contracts and like see these massive contracts, like $100 million for Max Crosby and these crazy contracts. And then it's just like, you know what? This is a nice 3-year, 25.5. I don't know. It's just not smaller than we normally see from some of these like bigger name guys. Bobby Wagner, 1-year, $9.5 million deal. I feel like that's just a reliable option. That's just like bringing back a reliable linebacker option there. So, Evan Ingram had some choice words after he got released by the Jacksonville Jaguars. He said, with all due respect, you just let a dog into free agency. I'm going to cook with my next team. He went statements on statements that he is going to cook with whoever goes and gets Evan Ingram. So he is putting out statements that he is going to be an absolute unit with whoever goes ahead and gets Evan Ingram. So we'll see how that works out. Texans traded for Christian Kirk from the Jacksonville Jaguars for a 7th round pick. See, that makes sense to trade him for a 7th. Doesn't make sense to trade Joe Mixon for a 7th, Bengals. Tommy DeVito is back with the Giants. That's fun times. Tutu Atwell got 1 year, $10 million. I feel like that's way overpaid. I don't know. I just feel like that's low-key overpaid. Yeah, I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting to see the Bengals post that we signed someone who isn't a depth piece. Because I feel like every single freaking day, man, we just get like... I go on Bengals Twitter, right? I wake up in the morning... and I go on the Bengals Twitter. I say, all right, what did we do? I say, we signed someone. I'm like, okay, who do we sign? Welcome back, T. Huddy. Really? Like, this is a good signing. Show his stats. Which player are you talking about? Is it wrong that I want the Bengals to get Genty? I know the defense for us, but I want Genty. I mean, Genty's a great running back, but it's just not gonna give us anything. Like, we need defense. We can't afford it. So, I mean, he's a great player, don't get me wrong, but it just wouldn't make logical sense for us. We need defense. We can't afford to get a running back. That's all. Yeah. Oh, no, Cam Grandy, too. We re-signed Cam Grandy as well. Keep that in mind. Cam Grandy. So, we re-signed Cam Grandy. We re-signed Ryan. Ryan was a huge, actually, that was a W signing because we need a punter for the foreseeable future. So that was a W signing. Tanner Hudson, Cal, and we re-signed Jackson Kirkland to a 1-year deal. So Jackson Kirkland, Grandy, Cal, Tanner, and Ryan. So this is Evan Ingram. We're apparently going to release that dog next year. Whoever signs Evan Ingram is going to get an absolute superstar. 365 yards last year, 9 games. He had 1 total touchdown. Obviously, Jacksonville was in the dumps. They were doing absolutely horrendous and atrocious football, so it's not really saying much. Year before that, though, he had almost 1,000-yard season and 4 touchdowns. And he played all 17 games. Who knows? Maybe he will go to a new team and become that dog, but I don't think we are that dog team to go for. I'm going to be honest with you. We aren't really that team looking for a tight end dog. What we're looking for is a Mike Gesicki contract and not this freaking Tanner Hudson extended. Congratulations, Geno Atkins, on being in the Senior Bowl Hall of Fame. Atkins played in the 2010 Senior Bowl and went on an 11-year career. Oh, nice. Awesome. Love Geno Atkins. He's also another reason, though, why the Bengals are so scared to give Trey Hendrickson an extension. We gave him, when Atkins turned 30 years old, we gave him a 4-year, $70 million deal. He retired after 2 years of it. So, How do you feel the Ravens are negative 140 odds to win the North? To be honest, the last 2 years we crapped the bed, so I'm really not surprised, to be honest. The Browns aren't going to win the AFC North in no way in heck, and neither will the Steelers, because the Steelers are trash. So, I mean, if we're not on our game, and right now we're not getting rid of all of our players, then I really don't blame odds makers to think we're not going to do it, you know? Gesicki going to be his get his first bag. Can't blame him. I mean, I don't think he's gonna leave us, to be honest. I don't think there really is a team out there who it's better to play for than Joe Burrow. But Bengals are not giving our stars money yet, period. And we got 5 days before free agency, so we gotta get this, show on the road a little bit, Get this cooking up a bit, man. Sign Jackson Kirkland, which again, great depth purpose, right? But I mean, hold up. So let's bring this up real fast. I bought this up the other day, but you know what? It got worse. This is the problem. I bought this up the other day, and this got worse. So Cody Ford is gone. Let's do a depth chart update, okay? No, I don't want to do that. Let me do it like this. All right. So Cody Ford's gone, so we can take away that guy. Oh, no, he's not gone, but he's a free agent. In 5 days, he will be, he could go anywhere else. We could really get to see Pete Carroll and Geno Smith again. That is true, yeah. I was kind of hoping we got Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll again, but it is what it is. Agree, but same happened with CJ and Hayden. That's true. But I think, based on what I've seen, Gesicki's been very vocal. He wants to play with Joe. He doesn't want to leave Joe because he realizes that it's the best situation possible is to be with Joe. Why is this not working for me? For some reason, my computer is fighting me here. All right. Let me try this. Hold up. Try this again. Okay, that works now. Just being finicky. So Trent Brown is gone. So let's get rid of Trent Brown. Matt Lee, underrated. He's good. Yeah, I really want him to actually get a starting chance. I would love for Matt Lee to actually get a chance to start. That would be amazing. I think he could be an absolute unit. So right now, this is our offensive line. Jackson Kirkland got re-signed. Devin Cochran is still on the roster. So this is what we look at our offensive line right now. We got Orlando Brown and Devin Cochran. Say 21 because that's the draft year and then the round he was selected. So 21 just means that he was drafted in 20 and he was selected round 1. So that's what it says, like 19-2 for Drew Sample. 2019 drafted, second round pick. But yeah, so we got Orlando Brown and Devin Cochran. Then we got Cordell Volson and Jackson Kirkland. Teddy K and Matt Lee. Stuber and Amarius Mims. That's all we have right now for offensive line. So, you're all good. And then receivers, we got Jamar. Obviously, T is now franchise tagged. Yoshi. Outside of that, we got Chuck Sizzle, Jermaine Burton, and Isaiah Williams. That's it after that. Right now, we don't have Mike Gesicki, so we have to get rid of him. Obviously, hopefully, we do have Mike Gesicki in the end, but for right now, we don't. We got Drew Sample, Eric All, Cam Grandy, Tanner Hudson, and Tanner McLaughlin. Could Matt Lee play right guard? I said that before. I suggested that before, and a lot of people have said that he just isn't big enough in order to play guard. Which I would like to see him play guard. He has played guard for us at different points. He's 3'10", 6'4". So I would like to see him play guard. If not, Teddy K could move to left guard, and we could put center We could put, what's his name, Matt Lee at center. Teddy K used to play guard back with the Patriots back in the day. So it would work out pretty well to have him at guard. Teddy K, that is. He used to be left guard for the Patriots. And then he moved to center for the Patriots after playing left guard. But he was actually really good at left guard. So, running backs. Khalil Herbert is a free agent. And we have not re-signed him. And it doesn't look like we're going to. So, we just wasted a 7th round pick, by the way, on Khalil Herbert. Completely wasted it. Travion Williams, also free agent. Same thing with Chris Evans and Milton. Also free agent. So right now on the roster, Chase Brown and Zach Moss. This is our roster right now, boys. It's all we have. Who are all these running backs on the far right practice squad? On the far right, that was Travion Williams, Chris Evans, who we use for special teamers, obviously. We also had, what's his name? I just said his name. The guy we traded for the Bears guy. Bears running back. 7th round pick we traded for. And then we also have Kendall Milton, who, was practice squad pretty much. When you go all defensive draft. Yeah. So that's what we have on offense right now. This is what we have on defense. Okay. Let's go ahead and take out. Oh, Joseph Asai, great player. Guess what? Did not get re-signed yet. And looks like he's not going to. Cam Sample, sorry, did not get re-signed. BJ Hill, did not get re-signed. Jay, nope, sorry, did not get re-signed. Keen Davis Gaither, did not get re-signed. Joe Bacci, no way in heck. I'm just going to take all these players real fast and we'll look at this. And then Mike Hilton, he is gone, baby. So that's what we have right now. And then we're going to trade away Jermaine Pratt because he requested a trade. So let's get rid of Jermaine Pratt because he also requested a trade. That's our defense right now. Offense is better than 90% of the league, even with the holes. Miles Murphy pisses me off. I mean, Miles Murphy is going to have to really step up because right now it's not looking good. Not looking good right now. And we still have to re-sign Shaka Haywood, by the way, and Moma Jigmita because both of them are technical free agents, but I think they're restricted rights free agents, so we could technically keep them. Same thing with Isaiah Williams. We can also keep him because he's a restricted rights free agent. So we lost on 2 trades, both running backs, Mixon and Herbert. Yep, we lost on both the running back trades. Can't say we win every trade. We do not win every trade. We do not. We try to, and the Bengals will go out of their way to try to win on every trade, but they don't. And if they don't win on every trade, then they will, go out of the way to try to, they just won't do the trade if they don't win on every trade. I mean, compensation for Mixon. Yeah, we got 7th. And then we traded that 7th for Herbert. So our offense is here. Our defense is here. That's what this offseason has been. The offseason of hell is what I call it. Yeah. Fun times. Yeah. So we still need to do a lot. Obviously. But, free agency is 5 days away. Get that situation figured out. Get everything, squared up. And hopefully everything will get figured out. What's up, Cornell? Uday. What's up? If McPherson makes 2 kicks, We make the playoffs so the defense get attacked the way it did this season. Yes, no matter what, Jackson, the defense would have been attacked this season no matter what. Like, it would not have mattered. The defense played piss poor this season no matter what way you look at it. But I will say there would be less, okay? There would be less of a... Lou would not have been fired if we made the playoffs. That's what I'll say. Because our defense started playing a lot better at the end of the season. And I think that would have carried a lot of weight going into the playoffs. That our defense, looked a lot better. And then we made the playoffs. So it would have been a little bit different. But we would have still seen a lot of guys, get cut. And it would have been a lot of hate. A lot of, baggage toward the defense. Just pulled up what's going on. We're just talking about all the stuff that has happened around the league. Like Geno Smith went ahead and got traded to the Raiders for a 3rd round pick. So what I'm going to do every night from now on is we're going to talk about NFL news every single night for a live stream. We're going to just do random stuff, talk about Bengals content, talk about all bunch of stuff, maybe play some games, stuff like that. So that's what these streams are, really, just kind of sitting around having fun, talking to you guys, kind of voicing stuff and talking about things that happened during the day. I put out a poll and asked you guys when you wanted me to do live streams, and everyone said at nighttime. Like after the whole day's over, you can just kind of pull up the live stream. We could talk, we can chill. So we're gonna be doing daily live streams covering NFL news and covering everything that happened during the day. So that's what you missed. A little summary for anyone who is new. That's what these are. The nighttime recap with Ryan. Just in, Seahawks offer Raiders Geno Smith and DK for yeah. I don't know. I don't know if that's accurate. The Seahawks won a 1st and a 3rd for DK Metcalf, so it's fun times. But yeah, so right now this is what we look at, right? Let's talk about this, okay? Yeah, I love your live streams. I appreciate you, Dakota. Thank you so much. Appreciate you being here. So let's go ahead and I'm still waiting, by the way, on this whole Joe Burrow situation. Because am I crazy, or did Joe Burrow say a month ago on a lot of different networks, look at the Underdog NFL on Twitter? All right, I'll check it out. But I'm pretty sure he said he would take a pay cut. Maybe not directly a pay cut, but he would restructure his deal in order to, he would restructure a deal in order to keep the guys he wanted to keep, which was Trey Hendrickson, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, like everyone, right? He would take less money and restructure his deal in order to keep those guys. He has not done that. He has not done that. Like, what's going on here, bro? I'm trying to look like I'm waiting for him to do that because we need to see these guys get signed. And I'm telling you right now, if Joe restructured that deal and gave us like an extra 30 million in the cap, we could easily get these guys signed tomorrow. Crazy part, it wasn't Lou's fault. The front office got, no, 100%. That's what I've always defended Lou. I think the front office took away every piece he had. Everything that Lou wanted, it was taken away from him. I don't see anything on the Underdog's Twitter, Jackson. So not sure you're talking about. You're talking about Underdog Fantasy? Or is there like another Underdog on Twitter? Because all I'm seeing is Underdog Fantasy. And they just posted about Luka and stuff like that. I just hope Joe and Jamar sits out, request trade if they don't get them signed. They're not going to. If Jamar gets paid, he's not sitting out no matter what. T's going to get signed. He's not playing on that franchise tag. At the end of the day, T and Jamar are going to get signed this offseason. 100%. That's not a question. maybe it's the front office that doesn't want restructures. What if they don't want to take money out from the future? I think the front office is scared to put that much money into 3 players because of injuries, and because if it doesn't work out, you're in a really bad spot. Can you imagine them being on the team who would want to win like that? No, I agree with you. Again, like I said, I think the fact that we're purposely not trading T means we're going to sign him to an extension this offseason. I think if we were still thinking about trading T, there would be situations like, okay, maybe we won't get a contract worked out. But the fact that they're saying no trades to T probably means they're very close to a contract already done. So T might get signed within the next week or two. Trey, obviously they're very far away, or they just aren't in the same ballpark range. Jamar, based on reports, they're nowhere close. So we'll figure that one out. Yeah, I mean, again, like I said, at the end of the day, Joe's not going to be happy unless Mike Gesicki, Trey Hendrickson, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins are back on this roster. That's what's going to make Joe Burrow happy. And if Joe wants that, he's going to have to take less money. He's going to have to restructure his deal and move money toward the future. What's up, Croctism? How you doing, man? Welcome. He's going to have to move money toward the future if he wants that. James said 2 days ago that T and Jamar are $3 to $4 million apart. Both T and Jamar. T, I'm not surprised about. I have not seen anything that Jamar is very close apart. I've seen everything the opposite. I mean, here's what I'll say about the situation, because obviously James is a legend. Love James. It doesn't surprise me too much if they're close. Well, see, Jamar Chase's contract should be close, because they already had it worked out before the season. They already had it worked out. You just gotta, inflation, or as I like to call it, hoflation. You gotta hoflation it. You gotta give them more money, but it's like the terms are the same. So that's the one. I'll be interested to see if they're that close apart, because I've not heard anything about Jamar being close with the Bengals right now with their contract negotiation. T, I has heard a lot of people saying that this contract with T is almost done with. That Jamar wants 40 and the Bengals have offered him 37.5. I have not seen that. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying I've not seen that. That is interesting. I've not seen anything him winning 40. I saw there's speculation he'll get 40. There's speculation that he wants 40, but I have not seen any direct thing that said he wanted 40 million. Yeah. I know what they offered him last year, because they offered him. The problem wasn't what they offered him. The problem was he wanted more guarantees than they offered him. They wouldn't offer him the guarantees he wants. They're keep Chase, Higgins, and Gesicki. That keeps Joe's offense happy. Main thing. Yeah. But he also wanted Trey because he wants a defense. Said it on his podcast. Okay. I mean, again, like I said, I don't doubt James. He has a lot of inside sources that I do not have. So I'm hoping he's right then. I'm hoping he's right. But that's interesting. If they're that close, I wonder why there's not more buzz around Jamar Chase situation. Because Jamar Chase situation should have more buzz. But right now, the only buzz is around T. Higgins getting his contract done, which is right around the corner, apparently, according to a lot of sources. We might get this. According to what we understand, this is why the Bengals are not trading T. This contract with T might be done within the next week. T might get a new contract within the next week, based on what I've seen from around the league. Everyone is saying that T's contract is nearly done. It's almost over with. So when Monday, when they said, hey, we're not trading T, it's because their contract is going to be done. Jamar, I guess if James said that. But again, like I said, I've said since the beginning, James. T changed his agent to Jamar's agent. So it would make perfect sense for them to, work out the contract together. So if T is like, because again, it's not like you have two different agents in the room. You have one agent. And the Bengals are going to probably be very blunt about it. Like, hey, listen, you are representing two of our players. So let's just kind of kick the can here and get two birds in one stone here. And let's talk about T and Jamar. What's your best price? What do they want? That kind of stuff. So when you're negotiating, you're not really just negotiating one player if it's one agent for two players. You're negotiating both players because both of them are going to impact you in the end. So I figured that both of them would get signed really close to each other. But based on what we've seen recently news-wise, it's been Jamar is way far apart from the Bengals. But for T, it's always been T's very close with the Bengals. But we'll see. Offense will stay happy. Defense gets overhauls. I don't know what overhauls we could get with the offense. With the defense, to be honest. Again, we only have 51 million. And we're going to have to pay a lot of money with the Chase contract, with the T contract, with T Chase and what's his name? Trey. We're going to have to pay a lot of money. And then Gesicki wants a deal too. Last year, the $60 million was guaranteed, fully guaranteed in 2027. Second year, Jamar Chase extension. Jamar didn't want a role guaranteed like Mahomes. Yeah. That's what I heard too. I heard about the guarantees, and that's why their contract couldn't get done. Which again, seems like it's Hurts as a several rolling guarantees, like Mahomes very team friendly. Yeah, I know. Yeah, we're not gonna get a team friendly deal with these guys. We're not. But again, like I said, it's one of those situations where that they were so close. But the Bengals refused to budge, and Chase refused to budge. It seems like T is budging more than Jamar Chase did. So maybe that's why they said they're nowhere close. Because even though we look at it, it's like, oh, they're just $3 million apart. If the Bengals are going to be in their, strap up their booties and say we refuse to move off that, little bit of money, like a couple of million, which doesn't seem like that much, but the Bengals are a team that a couple million is like $1 billion to them. They might be light years apart then, because 37.5 versus 50 versus 40 to the Bengals, that might be going from like a $10 million in their head, So that might be why the reports are they're nowhere close, because if the Bengals refuse to budge, there's nothing really that will get worked out. Now, T's situation seems like he's willing to budge, and that situation will get worked out. Can't say let's be like the Eagles if the players won't be like the Eagles. Yeah, again, like I said, there's not every player will be team friendly. Not every single player will take less money for, to stay with a team. I don't know. It's just the type of player, the type of person that says, hey, I want to do whatever is best for the team. I'll take less money. It would be team friendly for the team. Some players just want their money, It's just kind of how the business kind of works. But it's harder to work with, build a superstar team if the players aren't willing to work with you and say, hey, let's kick the can down the road. Let's add void years. Let's put more money into the signing bonus. And then the Bengals front office are known as very difficult teams to negotiate with by themselves. They make it very hard on themselves negotiating with how, they negotiate. So it goes both ways. Jamar refusing to budge too. That's what I'm saying. I don't think Jamar won't budge. Like, Jamar wants a set amount because he wants to know, hey, I'm getting paid this much. I'm worth 40 million. I'm getting paid 40 million. The Bengals, they will not budge when they think that they're not winning. When they think that they're overpaying or they might look stupid, they're not going to budge. It's less money. It's structured. Well, I think the whole situation with them not budging on both sides might just be pure principle. That's another factor. Pure principle. Sometimes not even about money. When it comes to the Bengals, I've learned this. People call the Bengals cheap. They're like, oh, they're cheap, they're cheap, cheap. It's not always about them being cheap. Sometimes it's pure principle. They're stubborn. It's the principle that they don't want to budge because they don't want to look like they lost. So it's pure principle. But across the board, usually team-friendly deals aren't less money. You're just kicking the can down the road and they're getting money in the future. So it's usually how the whole situation works. Bengals forever. Man, I can't believe this. Apparently he retired because we were going to cut him. So we were going to cut him, but we gave him the opportunity to retire before we cut him. It's just like Kate and Troy. Yeah. I promise he wants to play with Joe. Oh, of course he does want to play with Joe. Every player who plays here wants to play with Joe. But at the end of the day, you know, if you want to play with Joe, you got to take less money pretty much. Because we have Joe who costs what, $275, $260, whatever, and then we have all the other guys we have to pay. So at the end of the day, you know, it is what it is. So Uno, freaking love Chase. Need to get him on the deal though. I don't blame Chase. He deserves every penny. He does. But at the end of the day, again, this is what I said about pure principle. It's all principle. That's all it is. Chase doesn't want less money because he deserves it. Per principle. The Bengals don't want to budge because they want to feel like they're winning and they're getting Chase on a deal. Pure principle. This is what we got. We got principle. We got two guys, a team and a player who don't want to give the other leverage. Don't want to give up anything. It's by not being cheap last year. Joe will do what it takes to win. 100%. But again, this is kind of the mentality with the Bengals, it seems like. Is that it's like push it off to the last minute and hope things get figured out. When they don't, well, it is what it is. All right. Do not tell me Bengals Wire made an article about this. Hold up. Okay, never mind. We actually got a price. All right, so Trey Hendrickson. We got some information here, boys. So ESPN Jeremy Fowler provided an update on this topic on Friday. People I've spoken to believe Cincinnati wants either a first round pick or a strong day 2 package to ship Hendrickson, who will command above $30 million a year on a new deal. So we want a first round pick for him. So that's our actual asking price for Trey Hendrickson is a first round pick or a strong or day 2 package. Strong day 2 package. So that means like a second round pick plus probably a couple players, you know, or maybe like a second round pick plus a third plus a fifth and plus a player, right? That's what we want for Trey. I can't keep dwelling on past years. What's done is done. We do now is what counts. That is true 100%. $38 million is not a deal. That's highest paid non-quarterback. They could have prevented. I mean, yeah, but he's worth that, so it is what it is. You're just gonna have to pay him. Nice live. Got to go to bed. Have to be up in the. Oh, okay. Well, good night, Dakota. Appreciate you stopping by, Dakota. Thank you so much. So we want either a first round pick or a strong day 2 package. That's interesting. I mean, again, yeah, that's a lot. That's probably. I mean, that's a lot. Like for other teams to even give up, I feel like. I don't think other teams are going to give that up. Need to stop with the age thing. Calais Campbell is almost 40. He is almost 40. I thought he was 38. I thought he was 38. Yeah, no, this is what I've said many times. People keep saying that Trey is like too old. Bro's 30 years old. Okay, come on now. He's 30. Edge rushers can play the high level to 35, 36. Von Miller went to the Bills, got paid $126 million, tore his whole ACL, sat out for a year. He's still playing at a high level. He's 35 years old. Like, we got to stop with this whole age thing. Edge rushers age like fine wine. The older they get, the better they get. The more advanced and the more, they learn. What's up? How you doing, Michael? How you doing, Mike? Like, they just get better over time. They really do. Because they learn more. They learn more techniques and more situations they can go with. But a first round pick or a strong day 2 pick? So a strong day 2, so second round pick. Give us a player. Give us. I can't. I can't. I see him as untradeable. I see Trey as untradeable 100%. He's untradeable to me. Marcus Williams and Kamara were all drafted the same year to the same team. Oh, no, yeah, I do know that. That was the year that the freaking Saints, man. The Saints had a freaking phenomenal draft that year. Absolutely insane draft that year. Yeah, 100%. That Trey Hendrickson draft was amazing for the Saints. But yeah, and it also matters what's my favorite NBA team. My favorite NBA team is the OKC, the Thunder. Which, listen, at one point we had Russell Westbrook, James Harden, and KD. At one point, we had all those guys with teams bidding against each other. Think we would get a good deal. He is not untradeable to the front office, or they would have given. 100%. I agree with you, Steve. I agree with you. He's not untradeable to the front office. I'm saying for me, he's untradeable, but for the front office, he's not. The front office, like it says here. The front office is saying that they want a first or a strong day 2 package for Trey Hendrickson. That's what they want for Trey Hendrickson. A strong day 2, or they want a first round pick. So, which I don't agree with. I don't agree with at all. It's Lakers versus Cavs finals. Yeah. Probably. KD, Westbrook, and Harden still can't win in finals. Listen, Golden State was up 3-1. I don't care. That's all I will say about that. Case they were up 3-1. And also, Westbrook is a ball hawk, and he just cries for the basketball. That's all I'll say. Who do the Lakers even have? They did that whole trade, right? I don't watch basketball. I'm going to tell you right now. I don't watch basketball. I only watch football. I watch football and baseball. I watch the Reds and I watch the Bengals. So, but yeah, I would never come if it came to this. I never believed we would be here. I agree with you, Steve. I agree with you too. I was hoping that, we figure something out with Trey. I thought Trey was the last guy we were going to trade, because I thought we give Trey job security an extra 3 years and we can just get over this whole situation. But who do you want the Bengals to draft in the first round? Defense. I don't care who they draft. I just want defense. There's a lot of different names, a lot of different options. I just want defense. I want all 6 of our draft picks to be defense, 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 and defense. All 6 draft picks, all defense. I don't care who they draft at this point. I just want to work on the offensive line and get this defense going. Because right now, this is our roster, boys. This is our offense right now. This is what we have on our roster right now. This is our defense. Welcome in. Our starting left end is Cedric Johnson. Our starting right end is Trey Hendrickson, which is really good, unless we traded him. Who do you think the Bengals, since he's a drinking town with a sports problem? Like, our only D tackles on our team right now are Chris Jenkins and McKinley Jackson. That's our only D tackles we have on this roster right now. Has to be a defense now. Yes, agree. We can get Zeitler. Zeitler and Sheriff would be my dream, Steve. Or I kind of do like the Tevin Jenkins idea. I do like the Tevin Jenkins idea. Tevin Jenkins and getting Zeitler, I would be really cool with that idea. Because Jenkins looks really good. And he would cost a lot less. He would cost a lot less, and he's a really good option. Bro, since he just waits too long, they'd be sitting pretty if they done. Oh no, 100%. I agree with you. They literally twiddle their thumbs. They sit on their hands the whole entire time, and this is the situation we're in. I do not watch hockey. No, I do not watch hockey. Bengals rumored. Yeah, that is a guy that they do like. I've seen a lot about him. Walter Nolan. We talked about many times on the channel when it comes to mock drafts. He's very versatile. He's a guy you can kind of move around on the defensive line. And guys like that, you always got to love because you can utilize them everywhere. But keep in mind, Myles Murphy was also the guy we said that about when we drafted him. When we drafted Myles Murphy, it was like, oh, Myles Murphy's fast. He got some speed to him. You can move him around all over the defensive line. That's what they did at Clemson. We tried to. He hasn't worked out no matter where we moved him. Risner or Becton or Jenkins or Becton, Zeitler. Mekhi Becton does interest me a lot. Back when he was with the Jets at right tackle, he didn't interest me at all. I was like, yeah, the guy injury prone. The guy's a bust. I don't really care. But then the Eagles picked him up. And the Eagles put him at left guard, which is what he was in college. When he came from college to the NFL, he went from guard to tackle. And he didn't work at tackle. Actually, never mind. He went to tackle, and then they were going to make him guard, but then they kept him at tackle. I was actually incorrect on that. He actually was tackle in college, and then they moved him to guard. And then he went back to tackle. But he's really good at guard. If he can stay healthy, which it looks like he can, he's really good at guard. So I would not mind picking him up. But the problem with him, I wouldn't pick him up as a starter because I would pick him up as a starter, but then I also want a backup, and you need to have a backup with him. You need to have another option. It's kind of like Trent Brown. We picked up Trent Brown. We knew he had injury history. We knew he had injury problems, and then he gets hurt right away. So that's another factor that I know, Duke Tobin talked about data points at the combine, right? He kept talking about data points. That's something that I do look into when it comes to a player is their injury history. Because it seems like, okay, and maybe we just get the tough end of the stick here. We have bad luck, I guess. Because it seems like every single time an injury can happen to an injury-prone player, it happens to us. We always deal with it, and we always have to deal with it. And these last couple of years has been adversity. Every time an injury can happen, it happens. Travis Hunter somehow falls to the Bengals. We 100% would take him. It probably wouldn't happen. No, it would. First of all, that would never happen. He would never fall to us. We would take him because he's a cornerback and a wide receiver, and he's going to get some time he's going to be mainly a corner in the NFL. Although Mel Kiper thinks he's a wide receiver. He thinks he should be a wide receiver, but he's going to get some some playtime at receiver and some playtime at corner. Mainly corner, but also he'll play some receiver. So I would love Travis Hunter, but we won't get him. He'll be the second non-quarterback off the board. Abdul Carter would be pick number 1, and then pick number 2 non-quarterback will be Travis Hunter. Abdul Carter today, I don't know if you guys saw on Instagram, he actually posted himself in a Tennessee Titans uni. That's right, Abdul Carter, man. This man posts himself in a Tennessee Titans, what's it called? A Tennessee Titans hoodie. I mean, a jersey. I don't actually know what his. I don't really know what his Instagram is. I just went to look it up. I don't know his Instagram, but he posted on his Instagram. Who thinks? I don't know who won the NBA Finals. I don't follow basketball. I have a team, but I don't really follow. So what do we do with Myles Murphy? I guess keep rotating till they realize he's just a bust. Also, here's what I'll say about Myles Murphy. Our old defensive line coach was not good. We got a better defensive line coach, right? We got an actual good one. I want to hold off my judgment, Tom, until we see what the new offensive line coach does. Okay? If a new offensive line coach comes in and is very good and he can develop Myles Murphy, then I'm going to keep my judgment until we see what he does with the new defensive line coach. Now, if he can't get it done, new defensive line coach, who is actually a really good defensive line coach, then he's a bust. But the old defensive line coach, I'm not going to judge him based off that. Just like I'm not going to judge some of our offensive lineman prospects based on Frank Pollock. Benjamin Morrison might be a good pick for us. I mean, he played at Notre Dame. He literally was Al Golden's starting cornerback at Notre Dame. I would love Benjamin Morrison. Now, the only problem with him, they said, was his shoulder injury is a problem. He has a shoulder injury in college. That's the only problem they said about him, was shoulder injury, and also I think it was his start-stop speed. They said was kind of an issue. But we'll see about that. We settled for a 4th or 5th best edge rusher in the draft instead of best player available, Genty and Hunter. Did all the work getting new coaches, staff, just to not sign anyone. Yep, Ryan, that's pretty much where we're at right now. That's where we're at right now. That's why our roster right now looks like the Golden Girls at the end of the show. Okay, win NBA Finals. I don't know, Purcell. I really don't follow basketball. I don't even know who's in the playoffs. Like, I don't know. James said to prepare yourself for the Bengals drafting a running back or tight end. They better not. I will scream on draft day. Running back or tight end in like the 6th round, I don't like the idea, but I'm not going to be upset. If they draft him in the 1st round, all bets are off. I'm screaming. I screamed when we took Myles Murphy. I was upset. If you guys remember that, if you were there on draft night. By the way, I will be doing a live stream for draft night this year as well. As always, every single year we do it. I screamed. I screamed and left the room when we took Myles Murphy. So I was not happy about Myles Murphy draft pick. Worked out in the end. Imagine if Abdul Carter goes from the Titans to the Eagles, just like AJ Brown. Can we not envision a world where the whole world collapses? Free agency hasn't started yet. Yep, the 12th. Starts on the 12th. But right now, players can get signed technically. If we're being honest, players can get signed as long as the player's contract is not expiring. If your contract is expiring, you can't get signed. But if your contract's not expiring, you can get signed right now. If you're just a free agent. If Cleveland keeps Garrett instead of have him instead of a haul for him. I don't know what's going to happen with Garrett. Garrett said that Myles Garrett is saying right now he will sit out all next season and miss next season because he doesn't want to play for the Browns. He will sit out next season if it means he has to play for the Browns. So I don't know what's going on with Garrett. Garrett is so done with them. Apparently Jimmy Haslam refuses to answer the phone for Garrett. Like, he won't answer the phone. He won't talk to him. He won't listen to him. And Garrett's like, hey, guess what? I just won't play football again if you make me play for the Browns. Like, he'd rather retire than play for the Browns. And it's like, it's insane. Because, like, at this point, the Browns have no leverage, by the way. They have no leverage at all. Like, there's not, like, If you're trading for Myles Garrett and the Browns are like, we want 2 first-round picks. Huh, really? Because all I have to do is wait, and guess what? He's going to be a free agent because you're not. He doesn't want to play for you. They have no leverage. They have nothing to go off of. Dan Pitcher said at the combine they're looking for. Yeah, I did report on that. They're looking for a running back who's a little bit bigger and like a bigger size running back. The reason why is because they like to use them as a like offensive lineman. That's why we got Zach Moss. The reason why we got rid of Joe Mixon and we got Zach Moss was because of the fact that we wanted we wanted a running back who could pass block, because we don't fix our offensive line issues. What we do is we half-ass them, right? And then we just use our running back as a blocker. So Joe Mixon couldn't block, so we go get Zach Moss. But now the problem is Zach Moss has that neck injury. So because he has a neck injury, we are now trying to get another running back who's a big body guy who we can use as a blocker. Great. That way, Cleveland won't get a haul from him at all, Tom. He won't. They want it all. I guarantee you right now, Cleveland, it would be lucky to get a 2nd-round pick for him because there's no leverage. They have no leverage right now at all. It is insane, to be honest. Especially with Duke Tobin making calls. That is true. Well, they wouldn't trade inside division anyway. They wouldn't do that. But there's just no leverage right now. Joey Bosa is going to be a 49er most likely. Yeah, most likely I would say that. Now, nobody at this point, I mean, Jimmy Haslam ain't answering the phone. So he's not trading him. And they have in any way, they have zero leverage. Isn't Chase Brown taller and heavier than Zach Moss? Yeah, but that's why he's our like one of our pass blocking backs. He's getting better at it. He's getting a lot better. But we need a second one as well, because when our line eventually collapses like it always does, because we don't work on it, then yeah, you're probably going to end up doing that. You're going to end up needing 2 running backs in the backfield. That's why we keep Travion Williams. He's a great pass blocker as well. And he's great on special teams, but Mayo for Firth, great in line to tight end. Yeah, I would love that. I would love to trade for Michael Mayer. It would have to be a pick for next year, like a 4th or a 5th next year, not this year, because obviously we don't have 6 picks this year. But next year, trading a pick next year for him, I wouldn't mind, especially because again, we're going to lose some players this year, so we'll get compensatory picks anyway next year. Cam Taylor at cornerback 1 is horrible. Let's wait, Jackson, to make that judgment until we see what he looks like in Al Golden's defense. Let's just wait. Make sense. Cleveland doesn't have leverage. Yeah, no, they have no leverage. Because the guy says he won't play football again if he has to play for the Browns. So if I'm a team at this point, I'm saying, hey, listen, Cleveland, I'm doing you a favor by getting him off your team. I'm doing you guys a favor by taking him off your hands. Ball camp needs to be studied. Let's just see what happens with Al Golden defense before we make judgment on that. Jaguars just traded wide receiver to Texans in division trade. They did. They traded Christian Kirk, who is washed up and not good. So they didn't really trade anyone good, though. They didn't trade a Myles Garrett type of player. They traded a washed-up has-been on TV selling total gyms. Herbert did okay in short time we had him. Yeah, he did okay. He wasn't bad, but he wasn't a pass blocker. He wasn't like, we couldn't, if we used him as a pass blocker, that would have been atrocious. He was a decent stopgap player. I agree with that. But that pretty much what he was a stopgap player. He's just like, pure running back, hand it off, and that's it. We couldn't really use him as anything else, so. But across the board, he wasn't awful. We traded a 7th-round pick, but then you look at the fact we traded Joe Mixon for a 7th, and Joe Mixon came off a year we had 1,400 yards, 1,000 rushing, 400 receiving. So it's like, value-wise, did not work out. If we somehow got Myles Garrett, we might be able to give him too big of a contract because he mainly wants the one Super Bowl. See, the thing about Myles Garrett is he's on a 2-year deal, right? And the 2-year deal is 18 million and then 20 million is how much Myles Garrett has left. He has 18 and 20. He doesn't want a new contract. He just wants out of Cleveland. So the thing about Myles Garrett, what's crazy with that is, again, if the Browns refuse to trade him and get rid of him, he has 2 years left on his contract. If he sits out the season doesn't count, then he has to reset the season, and next season would be this season, right? So he's kind of crapped out of luck. He has 2 years left no matter what. I think John Jones would be good in the NFL. Is John Jones the wrestler or UFC guy? I think that's who you're talking about. Garrett would never make it here. Cleveland would never do that. No, they would never do that. But if they have to release him in the end, there is a possibility you could make an argument we actually sign him. Who is that thirsty? Running backs that make people miss in college. Scatterbo sometimes like that. Projected 4th round. Could be a fantastic draft pick. I love Scatterbo. I would love to have Scatterbo on the roster. But we just have too many holes on defense to go with a running back, in my opinion. I think you get a running back in free agency, a very cheap running back, potentially. I would love Scatterbo, though, but I'm the guy who keeps drafting him in the 2nd round in my mock drafts. I keep getting comments. People are like, you can't take Scatterbo. You can't take a running back in the 2nd round. I'm like, I want him. I don't want Genty. I want Scatterbo over Genty. That's my thing. I like Scatterbo over Genty. Does Katie and Troy do better trades than Duke because they got hosed? Nope. Duke Tobin is the guy who does the trades, and that's always always funny. They handle the finances. I think the Bengals are gonna go after Josh Sweat. I don't think so. I mean, they should, but I don't know. Let's look up Josh Sweat. What's his current numbers? Let me see. Let's see. Josh Sweat. He is currently sitting at 27 years old, but he's about to turn 28. At the end of this month, he'll turn 28 years old. Okay. Played 16 games last year, 17 games, 16, 16, 14, 16, 9. Wouldn't be bad to have on the other side of Trey. You keep Trey, obviously. It depends on his price tag. I always say, whatever, at the end of the day, everyone's a yes depending on their price tag. So it depends on their price tag, to be honest. Really what it comes down to. I wouldn't mind him. Why Scatterbo over Genty? Mainly because of when you could get Scatterbo versus Genty. Genty's a 1st round pick. And if you're telling me, like, do I want to take a 1st round pick with Genty over a 4th potentially with Scatterbo? Because of the value of where you're drafting him, I'd rather take Scatterbo. That's why, personally. I honestly think T should be the person traded instead of Trey. That's what I made a whole entire video about, and people got mad at me. That's what I made a whole entire video about, and people got mad at me. That I still say it. I value Trey over T. I do. I value Trey over T. That's my personal opinion. I think Trey is one of the most important players on this team. 100%. Why don't you like Scatterbo? What's your problem with Scatterbo? Ryan, Dylan Humpton agree. Trey T, not Trey. Wait. Trey Hendrickson, Turret. That's what I said, Tom. I made a whole entire video about that. T. Higgins has soft tissue injuries. He's 26 years old. Receivers drop off at 30 years old. And with soft tissue injuries, it only gets worse with age. Trey Hendrickson has a solid 5 years left at least, if not more. Played every game in the last 2 years and still playing at the highest level possible. 17.5 sacks the last 2 years, career years, and he's only going to keep it going. There's no way you get rid of Trey Hendrickson. You can find a receiver in the draft. I promise you that. You can find another receiver in a draft. I can find a receiver who can put up 800, 900 yards. I can't find an edge rusher who's going to put up 17 and a half sacks. I cannot. That's the most likely to the Bears because the Ben Johnson. I thought the Cowboys are most likely, in my opinion, to get Genty. I think the Cowboys will be because 84% of games Burrow has played 83% in the same 5 years. They both have played 100% of the games in postseason, which is 7 games. Availability is the best availability. T is hurt. Hamstring, calf issues. Yeah, it's a soft tissue issues, and that's only going to get worse, and it causes all types of issues. Hamstring injuries, ACL tears, PCLs, all those issues. I mean, it just all compounds as issues, and apparently he's getting sued. Lordy, like every player is getting sued nowadays. Okay. Can you look up the top 10 draft running backs? Yeah, I could. Let's pull up this PFF. I'm going to do all 32 teams. Running backs. Okay, so here's the top running backs. Genty. Got Hampton, Scatterbo, Judkins, Dylan Sampson, Caleb Johnson, Travion Henderson, RJ Harvey. We got Goldens, Neal, Blue, Martinez, Smith, and Merritt. Calais Campbell's almost 40 and still balling. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, he at least got a good 5 years left. And even then, I mean, he might slightly fall off, but he's still going to be good. The Cowboys said they most likely not going to take running back in the first couple rounds. Yeah, but you also got to keep in mind, Jerry Jones also said he was going to go all in last offseason, and they didn't sign a single player outside of Eric Kendricks. So when I hear Jerry Jones and the Cowboys aren't going to do something, I think that they're probably going to do something 100%. It's all smoke screens. It's not just about yards. It's about moving the chains in red zones. T moves the chains 89% of the time. We could agree to disagree. Yeah, we're going to agree to disagree. I do agree with you. No, I do agree that T is very important, and he's a great player, and he's an amazing player. What I'm telling you is I can find almost that efficiency with a second or third round pick as a wide receiver. If you develop them correctly and you have the best quarterback in the game like Joe Burrow is, I can find that efficiency eventually within the next couple years of drafting a wide receiver in the second or third round. I'm not going to find Trey Hendrickson in the second or third round. I'm not. Hampton Blue. Scatterbo ranked third, better than I thought. Yeah. Right now, Scatterbo, according to PFF, is going second or third round. We can find another T. We can't find another Trey. That's just how it is. I agree. T. Higgins is a great player. Like, there's no question. T is an amazing player. He is. But he's at a position that is a dime a dozen. And that's just it. It is what it is. He's at a position which is a dime a dozen. Trey's at a position that's hard to find. You know? And it's not anything wrong with it. It's like quarterback. Quarterback's hard to find. It's really hard to find quarterbacks that are good in the NFL. Especially a quarterback that can be a franchise. It's almost like a needle in a haystack. Receiver corners are a dime a dozen. Yeah, it's awesome to have great receivers and great corners, but they're a dime a dozen. At the end of the day, if you have a good enough quarterback and a good enough system and a good enough, player coaches to develop them, then you're going to be successful. Yeah, if Yoshi keeps developing, he could be maybe not T, but he could be, at least like half, if not 75% of T. 100%. And that's just kind of how it works. If we had Khalil Mack, he could help us with our team. He's older. He is older. How old is Khalil Mack right now? I'm still saying he can still play at a high level. I'm not saying because he's older he can't play at a high level, but he is a little bit older. He is, he's 34. Okay, he's not the oldest. I don't care if T is 30 or Trey is 30 or 35. He is producing. Keep him. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Hurt 4 to 5 games a year. I mean, it's not like I'm gonna be honest. I mean, again, this is, you know what's funny? This is a good example. Look at this. The last 3 years for Mac. Mac 31, 32, and 33. Okay? Played every single game the last 3 years. Put up 23 sacks. And he's 31, 32, and 33 years old. Just because he's older and he's above 30 doesn't mean he just falls off the wagon and he just sucks. Okay, just because he's older doesn't mean he can't play anymore. Edge rushers do not fall off. He had 17 sacks last year. 17. And that is at age 32. And freaking Trey Hendrickson is 30. And Khalil Mack at 32 is putting up 17 sacks. I know Tom brought this up, so I'll pull up him right here. Calais Campbell still balling at 38 years old. 38, going to be 39 when the season kicks off. 5 sacks, 6.5, 5.5, 1.5. So he would have developed a receiver to replace T. I mean, but think about the receivers we've gotten. Other than Yoshi, who's a 6th round draft pick, Chuck Sizzle was never used as a wide receiver. He was always a punt kick returner. That was pretty much it. We never had a chance to develop him because he got hurt in his first preseason with us, and he had a shoulder injury because he got hit. So we couldn't use him. Jermaine Burton's a mental head case. You know, like, since we drafted T, there just hasn't been really receivers that Troy Walters could develop to be that good because we haven't used a high enough draft pick on them. Or we haven't, like, you know, put that much draft capital into them. Because obviously since T, Joe Burrow has been our quarterback. And, well, the rest is history. How many sacks has Trey had in the last 3 years? Oh, lordy. Trey's been an absolute freaking unit. Let's see. He's had 17.5, which is 35. He's had 43 sacks. 43. If you train hard, take care of your body, you can still play. Pull up. Yeah, I just pulled up Campbell. Thank you again. Don't mean. Thank you, age again. Don't mean crap. It doesn't, no. But 43 sacks in the last 3 years. Burton is a bust. He's a mental case. He's a head case. Which again, like, it don't matter how good of a coach you are. I mean, a wide receiver coach you are. If you have a receiver who's a head case, you're not going to be successful with him. Just, it is what it is. If we have Trey Hendrickson and Khalil Mack, that would be the oldest, best duo in the league. Not the oldest, but it would be a good duo. Get Cooper Kupp cheaper or anything. Veteran. Have Gesicki as a slot receiver. He is like a big slot receiver in all honesty. I don't know if Cooper Kupp is interesting. He's also a guy who deals with injuries as well. Staying on the field is definitely not easy for him. So that would be interesting. I know the Rams told him to request, like, go out and find a trade partner because they want to get rid of him. So we'll see. Yeah, you don't trade Trey. That's especially from back-to-back 17.5 sacks. Yeah, exactly. 100%. 100%. 43 sacks in the last 3 years. Absolute animal. Oh, man. But it is what it is. Bengals won a first-round pick for Trey or a strong day 2 package. Most likely going to the Raiders. Who is? You saying Trey? Who's going to the Raiders? 49 sacks, 3 years. Who got 49 sacks in 3 years? Oh, I didn't pull this up. I'm sorry. My bad. I didn't pull that up. Yeah, it's 43 sacks. My bad. I didn't pull up the side. I apologize. It's 43. I should have moved it over. I sometimes forget to move it over. Yeah, it's 43 sacks in 3 years. 121 combined tackles. Tyler Lockett. He also has injury issues too. Oh, you're saying he's going to be a Raider? Tyler Lockett. Okay, Tyler Lockett. Yeah, he could definitely go to Raiders with Geno. Still cheaper than 30 million. Yep. All right, guys. The end of the live stream. It's one of the live stream like an hour and 30 minutes every night around this time, around 7 or 8 o'clock. Probably maybe sometimes 6. Kind of like this late night time. I'm gonna be live streaming every single night for an hour and 30 minutes. I'll have it scheduled on the channel so you guys know exactly what time we're going live every single day, and I'll put out a streaming schedule as well for you guys. But every night around an hour and 30 minutes, sometimes 2 hours, you know, kind of that ish type of concept. But yeah. Wait, 16. Wait, hold up. No, he had 8. He didn't have 16 3 years ago. Apparently they tried to trade for DK Metcalf. But he had 8. 17 and a half, 17 and a half, and 8. You are a good time. But yeah, so that's kind of how the whole situation is gonna go every night. But I'll see you guys